Hey, Elena, can you hear us? Okay, I can see that you
I
said-
can.
Okay,
Yep,
perfect.
I can hear you.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock. It's time to start our county commission meeting. We have myself here, Sylvia Stubbs. Jamie is going to join us virtually. We have some public here today. We welcome them to our county commission meeting and have some staffers, but we'll call the meeting to order. We begin our county commission meeting with a word of prayer or a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to volunteer to give our invocation today? If not, we'll have somebody up here at the table.
No, go ahead. You were before me, so go for it. All right. Dear Father, we'd like to thank you for this day, for seasonable weather, for the precipitation that we have recently received. Thank you for tall crops and fat cattle. Please be with this commission, grant them wisdom for good governance to your will. Please be with the public, that we remain civil. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Will you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. That was great. You've had a chance to look at the agenda, Sylvia, and do you have any need for a conflict of interest declaration on any of the items today? I don't.
I don't.
Jamie's online as well now.
Okay. Jamie, see you've joined us. We appreciate you being here. According to the agenda, do you have any conflict of interest declarations to make today?
I do not.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Next on our agenda is our public comment period. If there's anybody, we'll turn this over to Mac. He'll read the rules.
Sure, public comments are allowed for 3 minutes apiece. As you approach the commission, please just state your name and where you reside within the county. Just keep your comments civil and courteous. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to make a public comment? TJ? All right. Good to see you.
Okay,
Nobody
no.
really is online other than Elaine and Commissioner
Okay.
Harvey. So
Okay, thank you very much. We have a consent agenda that includes 4 items, Mac.
yes, yeah. So
Do you want to tell us those?
Well, so on here you have the ratification of the Utah Department of Alcohol Beverage Control local consent form for the Granary Bar and Grill. This is something that we had signed last week and put it back before you for ratification. This is for an event that'll take place in the Discovery Event Center for the solar eclipse on October 14th. You have the approval of the check registers for September 16th through the 28th of 2023. You have the approval of appointment of Shay Walker to the San Juan County Planning Commission. He's the only one that has applied for that position. I've announced it. We advertised that in the local newspaper for several weeks, and then also announced it to planning commissions go to any members of the public wishing to fill that at-large position. But at this point in time, we didn't hold interviews where he's the only applicant. He resides in Spanish Valley. He's a contractor there. You kind of have some of his letter of interest in the packet. And then you have so his position, just as a reminder, is to fill the term of Mel Nielsen. Mel hasn't been in attendance for a while. He had surgery on his shoulder, kind of been out of commission for that, which is, we can definitely excuse the extenuous circumstances, but hasn't returned since. Had several communications with him where he'd mentioned that he'd be there. That next planning commission member, but never showed up. We'd also received public complaints on that we're not following our bylaws, and so as such, I put this appointment to you, but it would also unappoint Mel from that at-large position. We do appreciate Mel's service and willingness. He's committed a lot of time and devotion to the Planning Commission for multiple years. This would have been his I think, third term on Planning Commission. So he's helped out quite a bit in the past, and so we do thank him for his service. And then you have the ratification of the Southeastern Utah Economic Development District's Recompete Strategy Development and Recompete Plan Application Support Letter to the federal EDA for a grant that they have applied for. That today is what you have for consent agenda items.
Very good. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Sylvia. Do we have a second? Second by Jamie. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. That's unanimous. We'll move to item number 5, our business action portion of our meeting. Number 5 actually is
Brittany's not here. I'll take it.
okay.
This is ongoing funding that we continue to receive. This is probably the third year that we've received a grant from the state of Utah's Office of Victims of Crime. This supports our victim advocate program here. So we have a part-time employee that helps victims after they've been accused. They're going through the court process. She kind of helps them. Reminder of dates, kind of helps them through that process. So works as like the funding is victim advocacy, helping them through that. The amount that we've been awarded this year is $38,136.37. This covers the period of July 1st, 2023 and goes to June 30th, 2024. So that supports that victim advocacy program that we have.
Very good. Do we have a motion to approve the grant agreement?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Sylvia,
A second.
second by Jamie. Further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Okay, we'll just
Keep on going. So the
Keep on going.
consideration and approval of the 2024 Utah Office of Tourism grant contract. This one is Lane.
okay, Elaine, you're up.
Good morning. Yes, we received allocation from the Utah Office of Tourism for the annual program. We received $212,500 toward our 2024 marketing and branding program for San Juan County. This was a $25,000 decrease from the year before, but we're thrilled to have it because if we don't get this funding from the state, we would be in deep trouble in order to afford all of the marketing, branding, and just everything, printed materials, anything that we do for promoting San Juan County. So I'm grateful that we got the allocation. I do hope that next year they find a better way to look at counties that are in need of more funding. For instance, we received $212,500, which was the same amount that Grand County received. And we're in much more of a hardship in this county due to the lower receipts of transient room tax. So, you know, until we can improve our transient room tax collections, and that means more hotels coming into the area, we are really in need of support from the state. So I hope that next year we can lobby the Utah Office of Tourism Board and the committee that votes on these grants to award us more just due to our financial situations. So we have to match this money, which the $212,500 would be coming out of our 2024 economic development and tourism budget.
Elaine, do Airbnbs qualify as TRT as well?
Yeah, yes, RV parks, the lodging properties, overnight rentals, and I monitor all the collections that come in from every entity in the county that pays transient room tax. So we're up slightly this year. I forecasted about 1 million foreign collections, which I think we're going to hit. Obviously, the eclipse and the occupancy that we have, coming for the eclipse is going to help us greatly. The fact that the government shutdown, that the state is going to keep the parks open, that'll help us quite a bit. So I feel that, we'll make our projections for the year. But yes, overnight rentals are a huge part of the transient room tax collections from around our county.
How do you feel about the collection rate? Are you collecting 100% or 50%? What do you think?
No, I think, we're actually, I think, doing a really good job of monitoring the collections. I know the fact that now that we're making sure that every overnight rental, is licensed to operate in the county, has made a huge difference in the last 2 years of us tracking the business licenses and being able to make sure that those people have a sales tax number through the state, and that they've got a business license, and checking to make sure that they've got a city business license as well through Monticello, Blanding, and Bluff. So I think, we do, while I can't divulge the information, I do know that there have been a couple of properties where I've had questions about the amount that they're paying. And so I do work with Jeanette Woodhouse, who's our contact from the tax commission, and she gets right on, whatever questions I have. So I monitor that every month when those collections come in around the 25th of the month to make sure. And you can see, some businesses pay monthly, some pay quarterly, and some pay annually. So the fact that we've got a new Ulum, which is the new glamping that opened this year, that's really positive revenue for the county. The Bears Ears Inn in Blanding, they opened, and that is definitely positively impacting our revenue. Glamping added a few spots, and Glamping Canyonlands and Bluff Dwellings almost doubled his the number of rooms, so he's adding quite a bit. Obviously, our biggest contributors to transient room tax for the county are the Airbnb, which are the overnight rentals. Goldings is huge part of our transient room tax collections. They're probably the number one. They are the number one account for San Juan County.
If Goldings is sold, which I hear there's a possibility of that, what are you planning?
Well, I'll have to update my resume, I guess. No.
In my last Olgero chapter meeting, in the last Olgero chapter meeting last Sunday, they were talking that it's not being sold, and I think you mentioned that too.
So Elaine and I met with Golding's management. I believe it was last month, might have been the month before. Months are kind of a run-on sentence nowadays, but when we met with them, that offer and kind of attempt to sell it didn't go through.
Good.
And so Monica and her and Waylon have both hired a general manager to help them out. And so she had mentioned at the time that they were committed to another 5 years here, which is pretty good. And I told them at the time, because we had CDBG road requests that we were trying to get improvements and things like that we just stopped once we heard that they were trying to sell. So we've kind of reinvigorated and kind of focused more energy now that we know that they're a little bit more committed to staying.
Yeah. And they are too. They are too. We have a meeting. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Matt.
go
We have
ahead.
a meeting. I have a meeting with Monica next week. She's going to review plans because next year is their 100-year anniversary, which is very exciting. So we're going to find out what they've got on the drawing board. So we, can certainly put some spending behind that effort because the state is also celebrating film. I believe it's their 75th year.
Yeah,
So
75th.
so we're working with her, and she also has some plans. I believe they're going to have some improvements to upgrade, some of the, whether it's the dining or rooms or whatever. So we're going to meet with her next week, and once I have that update, I'll come back and present that to the commission. So I'm really excited about that. They're
Elaine?
wonderful partners. I enjoy working with them, and we're really trying to help make next year's 100-year celebration something that will draw a lot of visitors, into the area.
Elaine, are they having a specific day or week or something to actually have the celebration? Because I know the governor committed $100,000 to the Bryce 100-year celebration this year, and I think we ought to try and ask the legislature or the governor for some money for that celebration.
I agree. Once I get the details, I think from Monica next week, because we've been asking her for quite some time, because obviously this is a huge celebration for San Juan County and Monument Valley and with Goldings. So once I hear what her strategy is and what they're planning and how we can help support it, then I'll share that with you. And yes, I think we should go back and see what we can get from the state in order to help make that a major event. I want to say it's in March of next year, but I'll finalize that date and what they're actually planning.
Yeah, if you can get that date to me,
Okay.
I'm willing to meet personally with the governor and talk to him about this whole thing and bring you along or whoever else wants to come.
Fine. I would appreciate that. Yes. Once I meet with her next week, then I'll give everyone an update on the status of her.
Yeah, we need to make this a big celebration, and
Yes.
and we need to get some funding from the state to handle the celebration and make it a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I've already talked to Virginia Pierce
Okay.
at the Film Commission. So we've had ongoing conversation with her. We were just waiting to hear back from Goldings on what their plans are. And I do think, without officially knowing, that the whole putting it up for sale and things that were going to happen, they really weren't in the process of finalizing anything. But I think now that that's kind of on the back burner, they're ready to move full speed ahead. I also think we need to talk to BIGA to find out what the Monument Valley to Moab Film Commission can do as well, because they're an integral part of, how this kind of whole thing started. And so it would be great if we could get BIGA, the state of Utah, Goldings, and then our office to have, rallying around to have a big event next spring.
Yeah, we need to get Representative Lyman to run a bill asking for some funding for this, and then if he's not successful in that, then I'll go to the governor personally.
Okay, I appreciate that. Well, after next week, I'll provide those details to you.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
You can call your friend Kevin.
So,
You can call your friend Kevin.
yeah, we might be able to get Kevin down here for the celebration. I think he bought all the rights to the John Wayne films. That's what he
Really?
indicated.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to redo those. So, yeah, I'll let him know.
Okay, that would be awesome. Wonderful.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, thanks for that update and that grant agreement.
I think we need a vote on that one still.
Did we vote on it?
I don't think so. I think
No,
we
you
went into
didn't vote on it.
discussion.
Okay, we're going to vote on the approval of the grant agreement from the Office of Victims and Crime. No, we're going to vote on tourism. Approval of the Utah Office of Tourism. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jamie. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Okay, thanks, Elaine.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I'm
you.
actually here. I'm actually here in Cedar City, and Commissioner Harvey, I hopefully will see you in a little bit, but I did want to tell you I graduated last night from the Utah Rural Leadership Academy. The governor, lieutenant governor, everyone was there. It was a really nice celebration. I have a plaque I'll show you when I get back for last night, and then I'm going to attend the conference when we're done. So thank you for your support as always for this grant match funding. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you and congratulations on graduating.
Yeah.
Her and
Thank
Cindy
you.
both. Cindy also took part
Yep.
in that leadership
Good.
training course and
Yeah,
graduated last
and
night.
we
so.
were actually, Vicky Ori and I were actually selected. There were 4 presentations to give to the governor, and our San Juan County's housing assessment was a project that I'm working on that I presented, and we actually presented that to everyone last night. We had to give a 2-minute presentation, so it was nice for them to hear that we're working on a housing assessment throughout San Juan County, and the entire county's included. So I was excited to present that to them.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, next on your agenda, you have the consideration and approval of landfill employee recycling incentive program.
Jed, you're up.
This is all you.
Thank you. So this is concerning the what we brought to the work session last month and bringing it to get approval of what we have is the scrap metal that we talked about that we're extracting from the trash that is otherwise getting left and compacted into the trash. So there's a couple little things in this that I need to clarify. One is said that we pay for the freight to be cycled out, but in reality, when we bid for someone to come and get the metal, they include that in the bid, so we don't ever actually pay anybody.
Okay.
That's all part of the bid to receive it. So the other thing is we don't want to include any of the 2022 numbers because we weren't as aggressively going after this metal like we are now. And so all we want to include it is the 2023 numbers. And then we want to change that split from 4 employees to 5 so I can include the entire team because the entire team is 5 employees. So anyway, other than that, what the numbers you have there are accurate for 2023. There was 12,368.58 to the county with 8,245.72 to be split in the 60-40 split for a total of 20,614.30. We have another probably approximately 250 to 300 ton ready to go to market now, but we've got to put all that out to bid to before we can sell that. So because that has not been bid yet, and we've exercised the full extent of our contracts on the bids that we have. So we're seeking permission to execute that landfill recycling incentive program.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the landfill recycling incentive program?
Commissioner, I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Jamie,
I'll second.
second by Sylvia. Further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
The sum that you collect on 22 is for a full year.
No, the sum that was collected in 22 was approximately, it was arranged, the metal itself was 5 to 6 years.
Oh, I see.
It was.
The,
It had
and
built
the,
up.
and the copper was since the landfill had opened.
Oh, okay.
And so in just 1 year's time, we almost did as much as it
About
took them
previous
5 or
time.
6 years to collect. And in the copper, we collected an additional, if you see, we collected an additional 1,130 pounds of copper in just a matter of about 8 months.
Wow.
To whereas before, from the time the landfill opened, the original 3,376 tons was what they had collected in copper from the day they opened till when I got there, and they were just storing it. In fact, it was really a mess inside of the shop. It was just stockpiled everywhere. And so I said, why are we, we couldn't even use the shop because there was so much copper in it. And so
That is gone.
so
That
we
is
sold it. Yes, we
sold
got
down.
rid of that so that we could open the shop back up and use it. And so all those numbers, we don't feel, that's not rightfully part of what we're asking here
Yeah.
because we weren't aggressively working like we are now. We've started some programs to where we go after it much more aggressively. So
Any other questions or comments?
No, thank you for that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 I also, that's 2 in favor, 0 opposed. Jed, when you came last time, we talked a little bit about this new building. Has there been any update or progress
have
on
not
that?
had any progress on that I'm aware of. I tried to get a hold of Sam even this morning to ask him, and I was unable to reach him. So, but
I think we're kind of coming to a critical point if we're going to get something started before the winter hits.
I would agree 100%.
So who do we need to build fire under?
As far as I know, I have to work it through Sam and the building department is what you asked for, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's just right now you're hitting. This week everybody's been working on budgets, and so
Okay.
it's only been a week and a half since we last met, and so it's just a matter of timing. Earlier this week or last week, we met with the state over at the public safety building to address some of their concerns. So it's just time.
So is Sam aware that
Absolutely.
we want to
Yep.
get something going
I
on
spoke
this?
to him on that.
Even
as
if
well.
we have to get a local contractor or
Yep.
something?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I have
Just
a question
time.
Yes.
about the building. Is that a prefab metal building had to be put up or had to build from the
We were
ground
just
up?
going to frame a building and put it
Frame
up.
a building. Okay.
But we were going to put metal siding on it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well,
Thank you.
so I do have one question about what we just passed.
yes.
That's for the 2023 year. We're going to include that, correct? To be
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So that's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank everybody from us. Tell them we appreciate all that they do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Especially to collect that much in just 1 year. That's pretty
Yeah.
pretty good on staff.
And it's actually deceptive. It's a little bit deceptive because we have another pile of almost 300 ton ready to sell.
They're just sitting there.
So if
yep.
we sold that before the year's end,
Yep.
it would almost double that number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there plans to do that?
Yeah.
We're
so we gotta
working
get
on that. We're
RFP
trying to get it out to
out.
bid
Good.
right now. So
So
Yes.
they've been working on the RFP so that we can issue it. We worked with clerk auditor's office to make sure how we structure that in
Okay.
our system for the checks.
also,
think-
one thing we're trying to change is the RFP, the bid, instead of having a one-time pickup, we want the bid to be good for an entire calendar year. And we'll
Yeah.
just rebid it once every year.
We can
Okay.
actually go probably 3 years on that so that we
Yeah,
can
for
contract
whatever
longer.
length we go. But
The
we want
last one, we didn't
the bid
realize
to be
that.
extensive. That way, all I need to do is call the recycling place that has the bid and say, hey,
Yeah.
we're ready for you to come pick it up.
The initial time we didn't even realize how much the staff would collect and pull out of there, or all the metal that we'd received just in 1 year, because that had been a stockpile for years, just
Yeah.
sitting there, and it was just one of those things. Let's get somebody in to haul it off. But this year, if we're able to get both of them, it'll be twice
Well,
in 1 year.
One of the things that
They'd
impressed
come
me
back.
is when I first got here and I started talking to other landfills about how they handle that. And the fact is, they all put in a program like this simply for the reason of how much it keeps out of the landfill so they can gain space from that metal.
Mhm.
Metal's one of those things that doesn't compact real well in the space either.
Yeah.
And so it creates air gaps and bridges in what you are compacting.
So I have a question about the construction. So if we decide to go with local, do you just put a bid, a request for a bid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But we'd
And I
have to
think-
have 3 bids, correct?
Yes. So, yep.
So, yeah,
For the services.
And I think, when you do local, it helps
I would
us more
agree.
than one.
Yeah,
I'm a
absolutely.
believer of circulating the dollar
I
because
agree.
then it benefits us more.
I agree.
Thank
The only
you.
concern on the local side, we put bids out before in the past and nobody applied on it, but
Yeah.
we'll try again.
Anyway,
So your son,
I have two sons-in-law, but I
Yep.
don't know how busy they are.
they're busy.
They all injured
Yeah.
around my house.
Okay, thank
So-
you.
Yep.
If
So that'll be
sometimes I
in the
don't know what they're
paper.
doing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
I
Super busy.
so if you're gonna have to remind me if they do put a bid, they had to.
You're going to have to
Disclose
start
that.
fixing breakfast for them so they can report to you every day. what they're doing.
I do sometimes. Sometimes they do fix breakfast, but.
and on the
anyways,
LaSalle one, I think you've worked with the surveyor to get out there.
He has
and
started
get
on that,
survey.
and all we're waiting there is for the
Just the survey.
survey to be completed. So,
Yep.
once that survey is completed, the power company's ready to put the power line
Yep.
in.
Good,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
good report, Jed. Okay.
Okay. Did we do an approval on that one, Lyman?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yes, I have the votes.
Okay.
Thank you for keeping track. We need-
So this next one, you've got consideration and approval of preliminary design investigation and process for $8,300 for the Perkins Crossing project.
We're still working on the Perkins Crossing.
Next time I got to go before Elaine and Jed.
Whatever. We like to see your
We
face down there.
we're pouring asphalt right now. Yeah, so what this is we're trying to figure out what type of structure we need to put in to handle the water flow. So they're going to do a hydrology study. That's kind of what's in this thing, a hydrology study to see the amount of flow, what we're going to do to hold it. I mean, this creek, there's a lot of water that runs down it. It ends up in Montezuma Creek. It's into the San Juan River. This is what comes by the high school. So you see how big it is on the bridge by the high school and Montezuma Creek. It comes from up in this area. And so, yeah, trying to figure out, we've looked at some different options with some different people. This is going to be an engineering design. So hopefully we build something that doesn't fail.
runs down.
That's not the crossing that Lloyd Shumway.
Yes, it's the Perkins crossing right there on 206.
So sometimes he wants to go down and clean it out himself.
Yes. So that crossing, the history of it, like this year, we closed that road for a couple of months. And so the oil field is who it really affected.
Yeah.
They've got wells right on one side. They had to come up through Devil's Canyon, Monticello, Dove Creek, and back around Bug Point just to haul their stuff. And so it was huge. And so this is getting funded by the Transportation District. I went to the Transportation District, who gets the money from oil and gas revenues. And I've taken this plan to them. They have approved it. We've kind of got an open-ended number right now. We've got an estimate, but this will give us a better estimate. And then in November, I'll go back to that board and present the findings of what it's going to cost us to do it.
Okay.
And then they're going to fund it. And so they'll fund the entire project, this engineering, anything we have to buy, they will fund. And then the county, we will do the labor and equipment as our part of the match. And so, but it's just something after this year that it really affected. Most of the cattle that come through the county come out of that feedlot, and the oil and gas, it was a major deal on some of them wells that don't produce a lot. It took all their profit to make that extra trek, because a lot of the times it's just hauling water to go re-inject. And so it's actually something that's costing them, and then it costs them even more to make that loop. I mean, the wells are 5 miles away, or it takes them 2 hours to get to it, to go around. And so that's what we're looking at. Is it's been an issue forever.
Does Lloyd know you're doing this?
Yeah, because if we have to change the direction of it, he owns all the land around it. And so he'd have to deed us some land. If we have to change how that comes through at that angle, we might have to straighten it out.
Yeah.
And he's willing to just give us the land to do it. And so,
I bet he is.
so yep, it benefits him. But like I say, the oil and gas, and I came from that industry, so I get phone calls all the time from those guys on it. And it's like, is it open today? And it's like, no. And my fear is, and what I told the transportation district is, that catches the water from Lloyd's Lake and all the other stuff that goes. Well, this year we had a great runoff, but the lake caught 80% of it.
Yeah.
And then it still flooded us for 2 months. Well, that lake's full.
Yeah.
So if we have a winter like we had, we have no place to catch it. It's all going to go down that, and it's going to be even worse than this year if we have a winter like that.
And the
so
prediction is that we'll have another winter like that. And through this whole state, all the reservoirs are full.
That's right.
So last year we talked about not having water. This year in the legislature we'll be talking about having too much water.
yeah, and the flooding didn't happen as bad because we had a place to store the initial low runoff.
It was a
And
slow runoff.
this
as well,
year,
so.
if we have a winter. So that's why we're trying to push it, because we'd like to get something in place over the winter. It's a great place to work in the winter. I mean, we have a lot less snow. It's 20 degrees warmer. And so that's what we're pushing for. But like I say, it'll all be funded by the transportation district. So
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Sylvia, second by Jamie. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. This kind of down towards your area too, Jamie. I don't know if you know where it's at.
I don't think I do. I just know there's a bridge north that goes across Montezuma Creek. So
Well, it's pretty close to the reservation, so.
yeah, one way you go to Hovenweep, or the other way you come up Bug Point and come into Dove Creek. That's kind of where the crossing is, down in the bottom.
I just have a comment. It's nice to find sources where we can contribute with. We have the equipment, they have the money, and I think it's a win-win for everybody, for the oil industry, which we need their resource. I mean, I'm a tax money lady. As I go around, I start thinking, oh, that can make money, that can make money. Anyway, so I appreciate you looking for that and all the work you guys do. And anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mac, he's got number 9 also, right?
Yep, he does. This one here is the consideration and approval of the acquisition of a Smith sand and salt spreader from Blanding City.
Okay, TJ, tell us what's going on.
Okay, so the airport has asked us to do some weed control, move some brush, do some dirt work, a couple different things. Asked us to do some cement barricades at the Justice Court. And so what we were going to do is that work in trade. They have a sander that they bought from the state of Utah in a truck that they don't use because you can't use sand on the airport. You can push it, which we do in our agreement once a day. And if it snows more than that, then they keep it clean. Or if we can get back to it, but just depending on what they've got going on. So they bought the truck and the sander was in it, but they've never used it. It fits the trucks that we have. We have some old, just normal metal sanders that are rusting out. And so in the conversation, it was we could do the work for the value of that. And so that's what this proposal is for us to do the work that they want. Basically, they want to come clear back to their fence. Like if you come out to Monticello, they have a deer fence around it. Blanding does not. It's just a barbed wire fence. So the deer can come in there and they hide in the tall trees and different brush that surrounds that airport. And so they want to do maintenance on it so that they can the pilots can see the deer from a long way away and they're not hiding in it. And so that's what the proposal is us to go do this extra work for them. And then in trade, they'd give us this sander. And the city council, so this was a project that was brought up a year or so ago. The city council wanted to revisit it. And so they went to city council without my knowledge of it and got all this stuff approved. And then I found out about it secondhand. And so it was the original, but they brought it back to the table. And so they reached back out and said, you know, is this something that you would do? And so that's why I'm coming here
Are you okay with it?
Yeah. So when they first proposed it, it was trying to find the money. Blanding City wanted to find the money to do this extra work. And when we were leaving, that sander was in the back of that truck. And I said, well, why don't you just trade me that sander? That's kind of how it all started because they don't use it and we could. And so that's kind of what started it. And it got put on the back burner. And now the new city council has revisited that. I think that, you know, they have a contract with Eagle Air that does a lot of life flight and stuff out there. And so I think that they're looking at it kind of as a safety issue. But then it doesn't cost the city of Blanding any money because they already have that. It was just part of the package deal they got. And so it's a win-win, I think, for both the city of Blanding and the county.
That's good.
I got a call from one of the city councilmen on this a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't understand what was going on, so I called TJ. But apparently, it's outside of our agreement.
Interlocal agreement, correct? Our interlocal agreement.
Our interlocal agreement doesn't cover
we
something like
plow
this.
snow there and mow the weeds alongside the runway, not down in or off to the side. And so
Yeah.
this is kind of in excess.
So we have to go through a process to get commission approval to do it because of that reason. So that's why he's here today. So do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? Sylvia made the motion. Jamie, you want to make second?
Yes, I'll make the second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. So that'll make the city of Blanding happy, or at least that one councilman.
Well, in all honesty, the sander serves the city of Blanding. I mean, when we push snow, that's where it's at. So the sander goes from the city owning it to the county owning it, but 100% of its life will be used
It'll be
inside the
used
city.
In Blanding.
To sand the roads in
Yep,
Blanding.
in Blanding. So,
That sander looks like almost brand new.
well, that's the thing. It's a stainless, and that's what we've been buying lately is stainless.
Yeah.
And so
They
it's
don't rust.
yeah. We actually last year went down and got it running and made sure it would all run when the original thing was looking at. And so hopefully it'll cost us less to fix it than it will to re-weld our old ones back together or buying a new one. So,
Well, thank you again.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, good job, TJ.
Bye-bye.
Next is number 10.
Consideration and approval of Library Services and Technology Act Hotspot Grant for 2023 to 2024. We got Nicole online.
Okay, you're up, Nicole.
She was online before. Oh, she is online. Okay.
She's online, yeah. You're still muted.
You're muted and we have no video.
Sorry, my computer was glitching a bit. This is just a grant. It's similar to other hotspot grants that we've received in the past. That it will sue the state library with federal funds. It'll cover 33% of the approved hotspots that we are currently already have in service through CARES funds. Anyway, 33% of the service cost to keep the service on the hotspots that we have in use. And then we would be responsible for 66% of the rest of the cost, which we've had budgeted in and we're anticipating.
Nicole, is this use that is pretty, is this something that people are using pretty well?
Yes, very heavily. We can't hardly even keep them on hand because they're constantly being put on hold. But especially in the Montezuma Creek area, that seems to be the most popular. They're the most popular there and seem to be most needed there.
Good. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve this request?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Jamie, I'm sure you're glad to see that that's being used down in Montezuma Creek.
Yes, very, very good.
Okay, next number
Can I
11.
just make a comment?
Okay.
I want to thank Nicole. I mean, you're so good at looking alternative funds for keeping the library. I feel bad I missed the fun day that you had last Thursday of the activity for the eclipse. And so
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice thing to have. I always like to see things in the community that they keep the moms and the children going. Because sometimes as a mom, we got 24 hours to entertain and take care of the children. It's nice to have that. And appreciate all that you guys do, all the library sites. And I'm glad that I get to come to join you for part of the time sometime on your meetings. And also someday if you need, keep an eye on people that maybe can serve in the board. So if it's someday you need somebody, I can point out maybe some ideas.
Okay, thank you. We actually have 2 that we will be on the agenda on the 17th. Thank you.
Okay.
And I will pass that on your words to my staff. They are the ones who headed up that eclipse activity, and Michaela's library did one in Monticello, and we are having one Friday in the Montezuma Creek Library that I'm going to go help Mady for. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nicole.
Thank you. We'll talk. We'll see you next meeting. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, so this one here on item number 11 is consideration and approval of the Navajo language consulting contract with Peggy Scott, our certified translator. Lyman?
Okay. For the past few months, we've been having video conferences with the ACLU and several other legal groups from the East Coast, and they feel that the settlement agreement from several years ago applies to not only elections that are on the reservation, but also elections that are off the reservation. So we have the need to contract with Peggy again to translate our election documents, our advertisements, and I've sent her five documents. They include information such as locations for the election, for the general election, which will be Bluff, Blanding, and Monticello. That Navajo translation services will be available with Peggy. And then the next 2 contracts for LCD and Bernice Left Hand, they'll also be Navajo language translators at the election site. But Peggy is translating the documents that we'll use in the print media, the newspaper, and we'll also record them, and they'll be on some of the radio stations in the area so that individuals can be made aware in the Navajo language of where to go to vote, who's on the ballot, and any other items that they need to know about. Time and date of locations of early voting, and then time of date of the general election, which is November 21st, will be open from 7 to 8 p.m., 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on those days.
This has been one of those things that's kind of been a surprise. The Department of Justice came out and they kind of regulate the language assistance as needs to be provided throughout the whole nation. San Juan County is one of those that is listed countywide to make sure that we're providing Navajo interpretation for our elections. So in the past, it was typical that you wouldn't have Navajo translation in Bluff, Blanding, or Monticello. Because of that Department of Justice requirement, we now have to provide that even for municipalities like Monticello. Even if the population is low in number of Navajo residents, we still have to provide it. Obviously, even if there's just one eligible voter that speaks Navajo, and so you'll kind of see us ramp up our efforts. This will be kind of a surprise to the city, the municipalities, because this is something that we will pass on the costs to them because it all falls under San Juan County. It is also a requirement of those cities and towns to make sure that they're providing that information to our residents. And so you'll kind of see this effort kind of going on here on out that comes down from that Department of Justice requirement. And it kind of makes sense. So on our website, you'll see now that we have kind of the schedule of dates and everything that's posted in English and as well as Navajo language. And these are the employees that we hired to contract this service out.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve?
I guess I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Sylvia, second by Jamie. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. You have number 12 also.
Can I make a, maybe I can make a comment after all the ones, okay?
All right. The next contract is with LCD, a resident of Red Mesa, Utah, and she's worked with us for several years, and she provides translation services at the early voting sites, and also part of the contract, and I'll need to update it, is also to attend chapter house meetings that might include residents of Utah. So we'll go into Tisnospas, we'll go to Denahotso, Ojeto, Red Mesa, Aneth.
Navajo Mountain.
Yes, in Navajo Mountain. So they'll help with that and to keep the chapter houses informed of the elections and what is happening and the dates and times. And so they're really good at that. They'll cover all 3 of the early voting election sites and then election day coverage for the Navajo language.
So is this, are we on 12 or 13?
So this one is right now 12.
And so that's with Bernice left hand?
This one's Elise. Sorry about that. This one's
Is that her name?
LCD.
Oh, LC.
Huh?
So LCD is this contract here, and then Bernice is the next one. Looks like we have that name.
Oh,
mixed
The
up
names-
twice.
yeah, I must have got them backwards.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jamie, motion by Sylvia. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
And then this next one is for Bernice.
Okay, now we'll go to the one with Bernice.
Once again, Bernice is a retired San Juan School District employee, and she helps us with election translation services and helps the elderly understand the ballot. And we'll also attend chapter house meetings and share the information that we give to them, and in hopes that all of the residents can be as informed as possible.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve the contract agreement with Bernice?
I'll motion.
Okay, motion by Jamie,
A second.
second by Sylvia. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Okay, thank you, Lyman.
I just want to,
Yes.
can I make a comment? Especially if you do advertisement in the radio, lots of times you have Native people in the car that probably just understand the Navajo. I think I don't know, just as I campaign around, there's some things that sometimes people don't understand how important it is to secure your own ballot. You know, I mean, I have several elderly people express to me that they couldn't find the ballot, you know. So it also, because some things that happened this past election where we had people voting twice, to just kind of realize that just every person just get to vote once, and a little explanation, because sometimes when you have barrier, because even among families they have language barrier. Some of the younger generation, they don't cannot communicate with the elder. I think it's be important for them to feel like they are controlled on their ballot, and it's very important that they keep track of it and doesn't get
Absolutely.
anyway.
Thank you.
Or anything that would help them to to be able to understand and be part of it. And anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to number 14.
Okay, this one here is consideration and approval of an application for overnight accommodations overlay district for 33 East Merriam Court. Planning Commission heard this last commission meeting. Their property is about 1.01 acres in the highway commercial zone in Spanish Valley, which allows for overnight rentals as long as you apply this overnight accommodation overlay district to this. The intentions for their property right now, they own a single family home. You can kind of see it here on the screen. They would like to, so there's an upstairs and a basement on here. They would like to convert the basement for right now into an overnight rental, and then in the future they will add 2 additional units to this. They will come in with the subdivision split this 1 acre parcel up into 3 sections. Right now they're under construction in their basement, and so they were pretty pressed for time to meet their mortgage obligations. They'll live upstairs for a time, and then hopefully turn the whole 1 acre into overnight rentals. And so in here, this is kind of the first step. All we're doing is applying the overlay district to this, and then we'll come back in, approve their site plans and the overall intentions for their units, work with them and their architecture. It's kind of a heavy discussion regarding why are they here, applying an overnight overlay instead of just subdividing into single family homes. Right now on our zoning for Spanish Valley, especially in the highway commercial area, it doesn't allow single family homes in it. And so this was kind of the only avenue that they had to get additional units into here is going through this overnight overlay process. And so this is the first steps to getting that. This is their current home that's under construction downstairs. They've been meeting with the building inspector to make sure that they're meeting all building code for that downstairs basement, having fire access, things like that. Any questions with this one?
Okay, any further discussion needed?
I know there were some concern on the end of the road, where
The traffic?
they come into a dead end, and seems like there was some concern about, but they did address that end there where the people really can be aware, especially at nighttime, that it's not, it's a dead end there, and they kind of addressed that, I think.
Yeah, yep. There was a concern from one planning commissioner who expressed a concern with the 7 additional cars that this will bring to Merriam Court. They already, on their own, approached UDOT and had conversations with UDOT whether or not a traffic study was needed, or
to widen the road and things.
widening. Yeah, there's right now on the road here pretty high traffic impact turning in which is kind of a concern just in general. There's not a turn lane into here. So the traffic, I think typically you're going 55, 65 plus along here, turning into here. They asked UDOT if a turn lane was required, but that would be something that the individual property owners would have to foot the bill for. And so there's nothing on UDOT's plans that would incorporate a turn lane here. But I think as development continues to come in this area, obviously in our overall plan, we have that frontage road that is anticipated in here somewhere, as well as the potential for future turn lanes onto these kind of private streets that
Okay.
come into the system. And so, but it was nothing of a concern to apply the overnight overlay district to. It's more just discussion in general.
Do we have a motion to approve the overnight accommodation overlay that's been presented?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Sylvia,
I'll second.
second by Jamie. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also, that's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Number 15 is a resolution, Mac.
Yep, this is consideration and approval of a resolution urging the administration and Congress to halt the ongoing injury to the U.S. sheep industry caused by excessive imports and urge the establishment of tariffs and a tariff rate quota system or some other form of quantity controls that will ensure the viability and competitiveness of the domestic sheep industry. We have multiple counties throughout the state that are also looking at passing a similar resolution that we would then forward to our senator and congressman that represents us to carry this forward to the current administration.
And this is an effort on the part of San Juan County, because we don't have a large sheep industry here, to support other counties who do have it in the state of Utah and join with them in an effort to help give a bigger voice to Congress. So do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make a motion, Commissioner.
Okay, motion by Jamie,
I'll second.
second by Sylvia. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also, that's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Okay, do we need to go into Board of Equalization?
You need to make a motion to go into that?
We have a motion to go into Board of Equalization.
I'll make a motion.
You have a motion by Sylvia,
I'll second.
second by Jamie. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye also, that's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. We are now in Board of Equalization. Are you going to present this, Rick?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So today we are finalizing the Wilson's Arch appeals to the state of Utah regarding their valuation on 80 parcels of vacant property. And we came it's been a couple months ago, we came and appeared in BOE for this process, and the commissioners wanted more time to study it. So here we are back to finalize, and we, in August, before Judge Kelly at our official BOE, so the end of August 29th, we presented this to Judge Kelly, and he recommended the 2022 valuations for these parcels. And they were at $10,000 for most of them, $10,000 per acre, with $2,500 for excess property. And so we are presenting that here today for your approval.
Now, has this gone before the state in an appeal process?
He appealed the time. So he said he missed BOE for 2022, and he went to the state to appeal that he could revisit back here at the county for the BOE for these properties. And the state ruled favorably in his decision.
Okay, and so Has he come back to the county then?
We presented it back to the Board of Equalization, yes, for Judge Kelly.
These are the results of all of that
Correct.
then at this point.
Yes.
So there are 80 properties?
80 some odd
And
parcels.
those is in this little subdivision that has those brown houses.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the far west side of that subdivision
Okay, that should going to be,
as you're going north to Moreland. Yeah. And
Have you heard from the property owner?
no, we haven't.
You haven't heard from him?
so would this be more than the original? Or they're getting less for the value? I mean, if I'm an owner and I receive
Right.
notification,
So-
I say, well, this is more, oh, this is less.
This is less.
This is less.
And this is one owner of the property.
This is Phil
this-
Glaze,
So all this property is just one owner?
The subdivider,
Yep.
the
The
guy
sub-
that.
the developer.
The development. yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil
That's
Glaze.
nice to know.
And these are just values. This is not the tax he owns.
No, this is the values. And then at the bottom of the page should be the results of all this.
Because the difference was that they didn't have a building on, so it's just regular empty lots. Kind of.
It is raw land.
They're not developed with water.
No electricity, no water, nothing.
So it's kind of,
Yeah, and that's why we've changed the things. So an improved lot with water, electricity, those type of things, we were good for 60,000 an acre.
well,
But the unimproved lot, of course, has a lower value because it doesn't have those
Well,
utilities.
when
So
you put the utility, that is the biggest cost for your property.
That's
you-
for
especially
the
if you
developer.
put out, yeah.
oh yeah, for everybody, yes. Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so do we need to come out of Board of Equalization and make a
approve it
decision,
within-
or we make it in this?
Make it in.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I guess I'll make the motion. I just wait for Commissioner Harvey to jump in.
Okay. We have a motion by Sylvia. Jamie, do you want to make a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Motion by Sylvia, a second by Jamie. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Okay, now do we need to come back out?
Yep.
We have a motion to come back out of Board of Equalization.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Sylvia,
I'll second.
second by Jamie. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed. We're back in our commission meeting. Now, do we need to take any action?
Nope, that was it right there.
Okay.
You approved it
So
in
any-
Board of Equalization.
And for the question, I'd like to bring up a couple of things before the commissioners. So
Do we have a,
we've been having some Board of Equalization appeals, right? And we need to do some investigation on some of these appeals. So I sent Randy out to LaSalle to look at a certain property that the homeowner was appealing our decision. And I said, while you're out there, look around, spend your time, take some pictures, look at all the different things and see what we've got in LaSalle. So in that one day,
He didn't go up on the mountain, did he?
no, we didn't.
Just right there in
There's
the
a lock
line.
gate and
All
no
those hidden
trespassing.
cabins that we don't assess.
I've been up in there personally with a property owner, and yeah, it's interesting. Nice cabins, very nice cabins.
that.
So on that one day, he found $3,684,000 worth of property that we have not put on the tax roll. It hadn't been assessed, which turns out to be, when you do the tax rate, it was $44,000, 428 additional tax revenues to the county and to the different entities
So are you gonna put those on the tax roll at this point? Or
for
what do you-
2024.
What's the process?
So yes, so we're going through the process, and Marty, Treasurer's office, came to me yesterday and said, we have got to get our final tax notices out for this year. And so she wants to do that this year. This week. So everything going forward is put into 2024 that we find new or escaped or new construction, those type of things. Right.
I'm serious. I think you ought to send him up on the LaSalle Mountain.
Well, we were thinking
Providing
about
more help.
seeing if the sheriff's office has a drone, we can just, get up so high and then,
I've been told there's a lot of really expensive properties up there that are not on our tax roll.
and it's possible.
With,
Yes, it is possible.
With Google system,
You can,
that's
And
what,
those are all second homes up there on the mountain.
right.
that's what the
Yes,
cities
I agree,
do.
yes.
They man it, they go around checking, see if you're adding anything to your house and the back part and all this stuff. So
Yeah, that's
So-
Randy.
So we, and this is for Lyman too. So I just went down to check my mailbox and we did win our appeal that went before the state. Yeah, for a property in Bluff.
Oh,
So-
I thought you were gonna say.
so the county-
Centrally assessed.
Pacificor. That's
Well, I wish.
got me excited for a minute. I was like, they never
I
win.
wish.
We never win.
I wish. Well, this is a property in Bluff and we won the appeal on this one. It was a good appeal, but,
Come back up with balloons and everything when you report. We
Well-
won the appeal on the centrally assessed.
we keep hearing Elaine's, remarks and we want to, say the assessor's office is doing a job too and doing a good job and helping the communities in the county. And we're just making sure things are
That's
right.
great what Randy found. That's
Yeah, but-
fantastic.
Yeah, I was just in 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, there's
So-
some amazing. He was sharing that with me one day, and I thought, well, we probably had lots of that, and hopefully, as we recoup some money, we can get some more people to go take a picture and give more money.
Well, it just shows we need to go out in the field and we need to look around and see what's going on and
That's right.
we need a vehicle to do that. We do have a vehicle that's fairly old and the windows are breaking on it and everything else. So we may come back to commissioners and say, where do we get a vehicle?
Yeah, let's don't pick on LaSalle all the time.
Oh, no. We got,
What happened to that one truck that was returned from the commissioners?
It's over at the road department, ready to take out anytime.
is it good to go to Hoorah Pass or LaSalle Mountains or it'd be liable? Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be
Yeah.
usable.
Yeah, if you need a vehicle, I think Mac
Yep.
has
They've got one.
vehicles available.
We have one, but 3 of the windows don't work anymore in it.
Well,
Has the road department looked at those?
So we're looking at budget seasons coming up, right? And then we're going like, do we want to spend any more money on this vehicle?
Yeah, that's a good question to have.
So do we want to spend $2,000 or $3,000 getting it
We
back
can
up to-
lease one for 6
to workable condition? Or do we want to just trade it off and
Yeah.
spend the money on something that's better?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Mary's Boyd, his vehicle is down there. The road department went through, fixed
It's a
everything that was broken,
nice
and it's
truck.
only a couple
It's a good
years
truck.
old.
and we need high clearance. So.
It is.
Yeah, it's full
And full drive.
I think it was like 2018 or 19,
Yeah.
brand new.
well, the thing is,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They have been-
Wow. And this one we're driving
for
is,
the reservation, so it should do
Yes.
good for.
this one we're driving
On all
is
those roads.
20 plus years old, 30 years
Yeah.
It
old.
would be available to you.
We can
Okay.
swap those
Can you
vehicles
trade-
as
can
well.
we
Get
tra-
that to you guys.
Can we
Just take a look at it and see. Yeah.
Can
Can
we
we-
trade their car for that one?
Yep.
The truck?
Absolutely.
Because what we like to do is
Yeah.
come to work and go, okay, let's send one guy here and one guy here and get her done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
that
good.
is definitely possible.
Because guys are passing you do in the summertime and not the
We
winter.
do 100%. I agree. Yeah.
All right, commissioners, any questions,
Well,
anything?
just thank you
If
so
we
much.
see you taking that truck out during deer hunt, bring it back
With a
to
load
the
of
deer.
hay.
We're gonna,
We passed an accident. Somebody just barely hit an elk and was by the side of
Oh.
the road. And I thought, man,
Oh.
somebody could use
Well.
this meat.
Yeah.
But it
Oh,
was
yeah.
just
I missed the tag season, so
summer-
Elk Meadows.
I'm not going to go
all the
hunting.
time. Yep.
that's the first time I
Yeah.
saw an elk, and it was humongous, like a horse there.
It's like a horse.
They are big. They do.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
there
true.
was a truck.
our idea is we just want to go these places and be safe
Absolutely.
and
Oh,
return.
no.
Be able to
Return.
unroll the
No.
windows. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
total.
And duct tape on the windows
Yeah,
kind of looks
shouldn't-
kind of.
We understand. We are
Sad.
glad that we have that truck that can be.
Do we have a county insignia on that truck?
We do.
And so it's,
So that would
It's
identify
already-
you.
Yeah.
and that's what we want.
It's
Yeah.
all ready to go.
Yeah,
Ready
so
to
people
go.
know we're there, we're
Yeah.
who we are, and people ask, we identify ourselves.
All the time, I'll bet.
Yeah, so which is
Mr.
fun.
Maryboy used to wear a sidearm on his
Thank you.
We'll be okay. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Rick.
much.
Good job.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, commissioner reports. Jamie, you want to start? Or you want to be last?
I can be last.
Okay. Sylvia?
So I supposed to start. I just want to talk a little bit first about training. Commissioner Harvey and myself just finished a many months of training going up north and learning lots of the basics. You know, when I first started this job, I probably had zero knowledge about county, and this is a business. It's not only a business. You have to be an ambassador, represent the counties. As we went around, I speak for myself, I had acquired lots of knowledge. You know, the last meeting, the last class, I guess we had a lecture or training was last Thursday, and we talked about ethics and how important ethic is, how a behavior is as we make decisions as a county. And it was really an eye-opener. And I want to ask the question, you mean I cannot accept zucchini from my friends anymore? Which I probably, I can't take your zucchinis. Anyway, but
Nobody wants zucchini.
anyways, it was
Who
just.
would turn down a zucchini?
I know I like zucchini, so
That one plant produces 50 acres of zucchini.
anyway, but that was one of the things that have been really nice to do. Another thing that I thought as I report, I'll talk about, as this part of our job, we have responsibility in the county that we oversee certain departments and certain things in the county, but we also have other responsibility assignments, I guess, where we serve on another boards. And so today I want to talk a little bit about some of those, as a couple of the assignments. One is a member of the 7 County Coalition, Infrastructure Coalition. And it's a group of 7 counties, small counties, that we work together to try to make big things. When I went, I thought it was scary enough to sit in this room, but when I entered that courtroom in Carbon County, it's a brand new building, and it's just amazing big. It's just very intimidating, and all the commissioners are very tall, and they wear hats, and I came a little bit late because I couldn't find the building, so I was trying to get in there, and I had a slippery pants, and I keep sliding lower and lower in the seat, and I was trying to figure out a way to hold myself up. Anyway, the first day was very intimidating, but I got the courage to invite them to come to San Juan County. It was the first day there. I didn't know what to say, and I said, you guys need to come visit San Juan County. And so they did come, and they visit with us. And in some of the projects that we've been working, perhaps the biggest one is a multi-billion-dollar, which is a railroad system from the Uinta Basins to move oil, and it has been an up and down with different things, circumstances, and with, fighting the people that are opposing us. This morning kind of had some good news, and hopefully by next time that good news will come to pass. But so one of the things that come from us leaving the county and going there, I got to meet people, um, those commissioners and the director, and then other things work out. And one of the things work out was opportunity to work with the organization UNAMI, which is sponsored by the state of Utah, and it had to do with energy and different future things. And so I also invited them to come and talk to some of the different leaders here. We have people from the college that were on the reservation, people in the community, to present about a grant, and that grant is in the process of being submitted. But because of this, I went to a conference a couple weeks in Price, everything about energy. And it was fascinating, but I wish I had some more science in my head so I can appreciate it. But it was lots of knowledge there, but also lots of networking. There's lots of the people there that so excited to do things in San Juan County. And so next week, I have a couple meetings of people that come in just to introduce some opportunities. And I guess I don't want to say too much until we know what they're going to present to us. And we one of the presentations is just a small concentration on one group in our area that will benefit from this if it after the presentation we'll see. But it's just really fascinating to see this. And sometimes when I talk about the things we do, like from the packet we get to the trips we take, I think sometimes people think I complain. No, I am excited about the things that happen. It does take lots of my energy, but I feel like I am blessed to be able to be doing the things at my stage in my life, and it's lots of exciting things happening. And I feel like the things we're doing is not just for today. For me, it's the things for the future. We're building infrastructure for to be used many, many years to come. And so I'm excited about that part. The group I work with, one of my assignments is Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Fund. And this also is operated from under the state of Utah, and it distributes funds from the oil revenues to the different chapters. And it's amazing just to sit in the board and approve projects. In the last meeting we approved, it's just one home per chapters, but it's one more home that they have. And so that was kind of exciting. Another thing, while I was there, from the first day I went to Navajo Mountain, somebody talked to me about the senior citizen center and the condition that were there. And while I was in the meeting, I asked a question about how do we start project, how things go, and I found out some good things that we have some funds allocated already have been allocated for part of the things we can do there. And then started at that point, we're going to start building up the possibilities of what we can do to improve the senior center. The parking lot is just, they're bad parking lots, but this is a horrible parking lot especially for elder people. They're boulders. You feel like you're in the moon. The boulders are coming out of the ground, and I just feel so bad for them to have to walk through that with their walkers and things. And so I'm kind of very excited about those assignments. And as I go reporting, I'll try to report on the different assignments. And one more assignment, the one it had to do with the county, is working with community development. And it's just so many exciting things working with Elaine and her staff. It's just one place I just love to go there, visit with them, and get excited about the good things they're doing and happening, and so in one day, it's not my assignment, but I just choose to do is to go to the zoning, planning and zoning, and it's for my own benefit to get to learn what's coming before us and just to get to see the barriers and things we had to overcome as we look to approve and grow. And so that's all. Thank you.
Okay, very good. I will tell you, Sylvia, the Community Impact Board, the CIB, funded the money for the Carbon County building.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we and Mike McKee and I came up with the idea for the Seven County Infrastructure Coalition. I was the first co-chair of the Seven County, and when you talk about the future, just from the time that we started that process to see what seven counties up.
Well, and the thing is that I got really excited because before, when we talk about the railroad for the Uinta, we always talk about oil, and so of course everybody's fighting us, but they're gonna work through this Congress and the Senate, and they're putting things like other things that the railroad can be used for,
Exactly
and it
right.
just looks so much better. And when I was talking, I belong to a group, a 6 women. There is an advisory council to Congressman John Curtis. That's another assignment I have. And when I was asking, can this group support the Uinta roll system? And one of the ladies said, how does that project benefit women? And Irene, she's a commissioner for the Uinta Basin. She wrote the most heartwarming feeling about why it's important to women for her community and how there's no freeway out of there and they're in a dead end. And so you get to work with amazing people.
Yep. Well, since our last commission meeting, I was able to attend the Northern Lake Powell area meeting by Zoom, and this is a economic study that Phil Lyman got appropriated through the legislature to do an economic study of what's going on in Bullfrog, Halls Crossing, and that area. And there was a lot of talk about the Cow Black Airport and how it can support the economic development down there. And then last Thursday, I went to a Southeastern Utah Association of Local Governments meeting and attended the revolving loan fund board meeting, and those meetings were good. We have a new building going up in price that they'll be moving into in November. And if you get a chance to go look at that building, it's pretty amazing, actually. Had a Constitutional Defense Council call meeting with the Lieutenant Governor, the AG's office, legislators, and there's 4 county commissioners on the Constitutional Defense Council: Bob Stevenson, Tammy Pearson, Leland Pollock, and myself. It was a good meeting talking about RS 2477 roads and the litigation that goes on there, as well as other issues that the state is involved in with public lands and so forth. And that's all I have to report.
Wow, that's good. That's a good news.
Jamie, you're up to bat.
All right. Well, mine is pretty short. Just here at the Utah One Summit at Cedar, and looking forward to this afternoon's presentation. They had a white Mesa meal here. Mark Chalmers giving a talk, and It sounds like it's a good time to network and kind of learn more about the governor's initiative to help improve economic development in our rural community. So this is my first time coming out and being part of this. I was invited by the governor's office, and it sounds like I ended up signing up to the leadership program that Elaine graduated from. And so I didn't realize that's what I did, but now that I'm committed, I guess I'm going to have to follow through. So just another thing to to be involved in, I suppose. But all is well. I think it's a good opportunity for our county to benefit from all the resources that the state kind of puts together for the rural communities in Utah. Last couple of Fridays ago, it's not this past Friday, but the previous Friday, we had our first criminal justice coordinating council meeting. And I felt like it went very well. Max support in that endeavor was just pretty awesome. I know UAC was in on the phone call, and they were impressed with our discussion, and just very grateful for Utah Navajo Health System, their presence with their behavioral health staff. I think our efforts to kind of identify our needs within our criminal justice network is going to be a good effort. We're kind of running with the timeline, I think, of November, the end of November, to put together an ask to the state legislature. And we're trying to identify our needs as a group. I know some of the conversation was just in summary, we talked about ways we can coordinate data better between and amongst our organizations within the county. I'm going to pull some of the state data from Child and Family Services and bring that to the table. But I think a lot of times we don't know how to navigate the various data systems that our criminal justice system works within. Like the court has its own system, our sheriff's department, they have their own system, our behavioral health department, they have their own system. And so I think the trickiest part is being able to get all the information together so that we can look at just the areas that our programs focus on, and taking that information and saying this is where our gaps are. So we've got a meeting coming up on Friday. I'm looking forward to that meeting. And I think we've got a great committee. I'm sure Judge will be there from the Justice Court, and it'll be interesting what kind of conversation we strike up with Judge and his information and his knowledge of certain things that he's hoping to improve in his system. I'm sure he'll bring to the table some of the needs he knows exist, and we can get a list together, a working list together, and we can work towards finalizing a draft of what our ask will be for our legislature this year. I know Max got a lot of work in regards to how we want to articulate some of the needs we have within our county to address our criminal justice system. And just looking forward to all that work. Finally, I think the next thing I was going to report on was progress in Montezuma Creek streetlights. Grateful to our county administrator, for his help and support as we're reaching out to Navajo Tribal Utility Authority. I think we're getting close to getting a cost together for repairing some of the street lights there at Montezuma Creek. I know the community and some of the chapter leaders, they have been kind of questioning why aren't we focusing on public safety, and the sun is going down sooner and the sun's coming up later, and we've got children that need those lights, and so kind of hoping we can get through on getting some of those lights working and operable again. And then finally, the last item I just wanted to share on is also, again, with administrators' efforts, reaching out to Navajo. I think it's BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs Roads Department, and getting them finally to a meeting where we're able to sit across the table with them to have an engaging discussion about the status of the roads that they maintain. I know a lot of the community members have been expressing their questions about when will certain areas of the roads within the reservation be addressed. I know Red Mesa has been asking, when will we finally have progress with repairs for roads running south of the post office towards Red Mesa? And I think some of the roads that the community's been talking about is some of the roads that Resolute or Elk Petroleum had been maintaining at some point on their own. Recently, we were able to, county administrator and I were able to sit down with Resolute to talk about their own efforts to resume maintaining some of their own roads within Aneth and Montezuma Creek. Resolute wants to be able to I think spray magnesium chloride on some of the dirt roads to control a lot of the dust that come up from the workers that drive through there. And they also want to be able to do some of their own road repair. And so they're kind of hesitant because of the past road exchange with Navajo Nation and BIA. And so they're also kind of at a standstill. They're looking at the county's efforts and sitting down with BIA and Navajo Nation so that we can get some of the road maintenance clarified, and hopefully Resolute can obtain their authorization that they seek so that they can resume maintaining some of their roads that they've seemed to have been doing in the past. Right now, it seems like it's just a standstill because of the confusion regarding the road maintenance exchange between the county and the nation. So hopefully with the meeting that's been set in November, a lot of those mixed messages and confusion on road maintenance between the county, the tribe, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and Resolute Natural Resources can be clarified so that everyone knows what's happening with road maintenance and who's got what area to address. So that's my report. I think that's 4 items I just wanted to cover during this commission meeting. I'm grateful to our county staff, all the departments. I know they do a great job. I really enjoyed our recent outing with the staff. I think it's a couple of weeks ago we got to sit down and have a picnic with the county employees and I felt good about our efforts and meeting with the county staff. I'm sure we have upcoming events that will have more opportunities to sit down with the county employees just so that we can express our appreciation for their efforts and the work that they do every day. I know a lot of times they don't hear enough gratitude from us and from the community members, but I know that the individual work they do in their respective departments, very valuable work to keep our huge county going every day and just working through that whole day-to-day business. And of course, grateful to our county administrator for all his support. Everything that I've been asking for help with, he's been there to support. And so grateful for that help. And then thank you, commissioners, for your support and help. And looking forward to tackling this fall season. Hopefully the winter doesn't come too soon. I haven't gone out and gathered my wood yet, so got some work to do on my own too. So, but that's all I have, commissioners. Thank you much for the report.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. One other thing I wanted to report is this Thursday is CIB meeting, and the county has a project it's a funding meeting. We have a project to get money from the CIB to remodel a jail. It totals about 28 million.
Yeah.
28 million. So Mac and I'll be going to that meeting with our fingers crossed, hoping that there's enough money available to fund that project. But we'll be up there on Thursday to try and bring home the payload.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll keep our fingers crossed too.
Yes.
Okay, we have one other motion to make.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Sylvia. I'll second that since Jamie's gone. Oh, Jamie's still here. Do you want to second that, Jamie?
Sure, it'd be an honor to second that motion.
Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye also. That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
As just a visitor.
Thanks,